Sonia.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to a whole new episode of Featurepreneur Presence Live AMA. Today, amidst us, we have Soumya Vaidyanathan. She is presently a data scientist at Prismate Labs, Chemnitz, Saxony, Germany. She pursued a master's degree in automation and IT from Cologne University of Applied Science. She is also an enthralling personality who anchors several experiences from eminent places like Trump, Rail Cargo Carriers, Portalease, JWC, and also Tata Consultancy Services. With great joy, I welcome Soumya Vaidyanathan to Featurepreneur Presence Live AMA. Hello, Soumya. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me today. Thank you, Sonia. Yeah.
The pleasure is definitely ours, Soumya. I am really excited for the session ahead. Stay tuned with us throughout the session to shoot out your intriguing questions and also to win exciting prizes. Once again, on behalf of Featurepreneur, welcoming all of you to the live AMA with Soumya Vaidyanathan. So Soumya, to start off with, can you please introduce yourself to our interns?
Yeah. So I'm Soumya Vaidyanathan, and I did my master's in Germany in TH Cologne in automation and IT. So I'm basically an electronics and instrumentation major from bachelor's in India, and I worked in Tata Consultancy Services in the IT field. So this course was a perfect match for my requirements, and so I took up this master's, and I started getting some interest in data, the field of data science and machine learning during my master's, and I decided to pursue my career in that. And yeah, now I work as a data scientist in Prismate Labs.
Yeah, so as you were like mentioning, like you're currently anchor a lot of data science experience ever since you took up your master's degree. So how has it been so far? Can you give us an overview about your data science experience so far?
Yeah, so basically, I had a few modules in my first year of master program regarding this data acquisition and data mining. So I just started off with the tool called R, and I was practicing that and writing assignments and all that, and it really interested me a lot, and I wanted to learn more about that. So in my university, we have had a semester where we do group projects. So I took up two projects in the field of data science, and I still enhanced my knowledge on that part. And then my journey was like I started searching for an internship, and I wanted to do a thesis, my master thesis, also in the field of machine learning. So that's when I got my internship in Trumpf, and they also offered me a thesis to do in their company. So this machine learning and data science was relatively also new to the company. They also wanted to do some research work with their machines and their problems, if that can be handled with machine learning and stuff. So it was really a very good learning experience for me there. So after my thesis, I applied for jobs at various companies, and then I landed in this job in Prismate Labs. So Prismate Labs is basically a startup. So my idea was that if I join a startup, I would have more room to learn new stuffs. So that's how I landed here in my career.
That is a very interesting course of path, I would say, for you, Soumya. So
Thank you.
speaking of Prismate Labs, that as you mentioned, so how is your experience with them? So how is it
Yeah.
going?
So as I said, they are a relatively new company. I mean, they're just 5 years old. So my experience with them is that we are very few people currently working here. So it's a very nice work atmosphere. So there's no hierarchy or something in our company. because all of us sit together and work and exchange ideas and put up new stuffs and everything. So it's a very friendly atmosphere to work with in first place. And what the company basically does is like they are using this printing technology, modern printing technology, to print some secure electronic identification tags. I mean, everyone must have heard about RFID or NFC that we are using. So they provide some interactive technologies that could be used as an alternative for this. These tags can be used just in papers, and there are no chips or something that are required here. So basically, this is the profile there. So I work in the machine. They are also relatively new to this machine learning and data science part. So I work with them and I try to solve their major issues that they are having currently. So yeah, I think so far it's going great at Prismate Labs, and I hope I continue there for some more time and have a very nice experience and learn a lot.
Yeah, we're very glad that it's going great for you. So you mentioned a couple of projects that you have been working with, right? So
Yeah.
can you please elaborate on one of the interesting project that you worked with, or it might be a future project as well?
Yeah, so currently one of the major projects that I'm working on is called the Hologram project. So basically what they do, you know that we have these bank notes. So this project could be used, once if this is successful, they can use this printing technology and embed that code in banknotes, and then they can be used to see, used to check if a banknote is a real note or a fraud note. So this is one of the interesting projects I'm working on currently. I mean, the project is almost over, and also there are some smart IDs. So for example, we have these cards like the driving license or your ATM cards or anything. So basically, they use this printing technology and they embed a code in this card, like a code, and each of these codes will have a label. So the basic idea is that we take these cards, put it on the app that our company provides, and then you swipe with your finger on the card, and that generates a signal. A swipe actually. So this swipe is actually the data that we are working on. So the label inside that card will help them identify what is whose this card is, whether this is a fraud or it is not. So we work on this in this basis. So currently I'm working on this hologram project for detecting banknotes. Yeah.
And that is very interesting. I'm taken aback of how interesting these projects are. Like you said, it's going to be crime free, less corruption if you could identify all those,
Yeah.
illegal notes and everything. That's very interesting. Your projects are very inspiring, I have to say. But then
Thank
I have
you.
a personal question I would also say from my side. You pursued your undergraduation in electronics, I believe, at Sastra University,
Yeah.
right? And then you took a big
Yeah.
step to data science. So was it like a big difference, or was it you accidentally landed there, or you wanted to pursue data science?
So my idea basically was that it was never to pursue my career in electronics. I mean, I was more concentrated on the instrumentation or the control systems part of my course. So that was what I was intrigued in. But I would say that when I worked in TCS, I got kind of a little bit idea of, okay, I should also try my hands in this IT part and this. So that is how I landed in this course in the first place. So when I came into masters, I had a lot of depth to each of these topics that I was working on, and then I decided, okay, this is what is interesting me a lot, and I should take up this as a career. So yeah, that's how I landed here from electronics and instrumentation.
But I would tell you it was a good turning point of your life. You landed at
Yeah.
a great place.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
speaking of, you worked as an associate system engineer at Tata Consultancy Services, right? So you were
Yeah.
also saying that you worked with Prestate Labs, which was a very new company with only 5 years of experience. So what
Yeah.
is your personal view of working with a company which has a which backs a huge number of experience as well as with new companies? Which one do you think suits people as a fresher for interns like us who are going to pass out?
Yeah, so in my opinion, for freshers, I would definitely say a startup should be the right choice. So, after I did my master's, I was also a fresher. So, my previous experience did not matter at all. So, I started off, I took a chance that if I go to like a startup, I will have more room for learning and a lot of freedom to do. And since this company was also relatively new to machine learning, I have a lot of I had a lot of things to learn, and I'm still learning. So I there are I mean, there's a lot of field in machine learning and a lot of things to explore in ML and in deep learning. So whenever I read about something and then I explain this to my company people, and then they are very interested in that, and they give me the freedom to try out those things. So for a starter, I would definitely say the choice should be a startup company.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, what you said was really correct. You need a platform to express yourself and get your hands into the mud rather than just listening to instructions. You don't gain practical
Yeah,
experience.
exactly.
That,
And since
yeah,
we do not
yes.
have a hierarchy in the company, there's no need for getting permission or getting a permission for doing each and everything or trying out different stuffs. So you can do whatever you want, and then if you're showing some good results, it's fine. Even if they do not work out, you still have learned something. So it's always nice.
Yes, very true. There's a lot of encouragement and inspiration going around in that environment. That's very true.
Yeah.
So, going a little off topic, I want to just ask you a non-tech questions. This is one
Yeah.
question we ask all our guests and we receive very interesting answers as well. So, let's say Soumya, you received $1 million.
Hmm.
Okay, so what would you do with that?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. Okay, so with
Thank
$1 million, okay, let's just I'll start off with a selfish note of like first of all repaying my educational loan. Uh, so I'll use I'll use a part of that amount to first repay my loan, and then I have two major things. Like one thing would be like some day I aim to start a company in India. So it's like I have never had the idea to settle outside India. So if I have to come back, and always wanted to give it back to my country. So if I had $1 million, definitely I would start a company, and like I would want to give jobs to a lot of new people. And yeah, that would be one of my major goals. And another one would be that I had this a long term plan of like investing in some NGO that majorly focuses on education for children my opinion is that everybody is entitled to basic education. So I would do my best to like give that to all the people who do not have an opportunity to get that.
That's very sweet, philanthropic, and noble of you, I would say, Soumya. And
Thank
I
you.
see another Raja sir in you. Like I really wish you start a company in India and you'd give great opportunities for interns like us to be part of your company. Wishing you all well for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so coming back, my next question for you is you pursued your master's in automation and IT at Cologne University, right? And you also
Yeah.
mentioned that you did a thesis in machine learning there.
Yeah.
So, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so my master thesis. I did my master thesis in a company called Trumpf. So Trumpf is basically a laser machines and tools manufacturing company in Germany. So they have this new laser machine that is a completely automated machine. So what that machine does is like from like loading the parts to like cutting the parts into desired shape. So they use these laser technology to cut the metal parts and then of desired shapes. The shape or the geometry of the part can be anything according to the requirement of the customer. So from loading the raw sheets to cutting them and unloading them and then sorting them, this whole process is done automatically. So a complete automation would mean that obviously there should not be any human interference in any part of this process. So they actually have a major challenge going on in one of the process, which is unloading of the cut parts. So they give the uncut raw sheet, and then the laser cuts the part in the desired geometry. And now there is you have to unload this cut part and sort it and put it at a different place. So here is where they are facing a major problem. So to unload this part, what they're using is they're using something called pneumatic pins that will pop up from behind the from below the part, and it will eject the part out of that raw sheet. And then there is something called a suction cup on the top that will like take this part and put it at a different location. So this part of where they are trying to pop up those pneumatic pins to eject the cut part, that is where the challenge is, because you have different geometries, and for different geometries the position of the pins that would pop up will be completely different. And if one even if one pin doesn't pop up or an extra pin pops up, the process will be stopped. I mean, the part will get stuck, and the suction cups, they cannot take and unload it. So they'll require a human interference to check what happened, and then manually people will have to come and unload this. So they do not want this to happen. They wanted to use machine learning algorithm in this part to ensure that the process takes place smoothly without any problem. So I worked on this part where we used images. We used the images of the geometry of the part and the position of the pins. So I tried to use a convolutional neural network algorithm wherein I pass this pin positions and the geometry as an image to the network, and then the network tries to learn. Okay, for this part, this is the position of the pins that would result in a successful extraction. So like this, I give like hundreds of images to the network. The network will try to learn based on this learning. So when I give a new image, when a new real-time problem is presented, my model will try to predict if for this particular position of the pins and for this particular part, if this extraction will be a success or failure. So this is what I was doing for my thesis.
Okay, I have to really appreciate you because you gave us a very edifying brief of your thesis. You took us from step one to the final step. I would have to say you would also make a great mentor, Soumya. So because you would make a great mentor, I would want to know more about your work. So can you please throw some light on some R&D projects, research works that you have been doing recently?
This master thesis itself was a part of the R&D in the company that I worked. So this is it was into two parts. So for the first part of this project was like I tried to use some machine learning algorithms to do the same process that I told you, and my thesis more involved the deep learning part. So I also worked with this raw numerical data and also this images. So this was more or less the R&D that I had done because I was part of the R&D team in Trumpf. So yeah, that's about the research project. But I don't know if what I do at Prismade counts as research, because we do not have like a separate R&D team in our company, because it's a small company, as I told you. But yeah, the use case that we are doing is relatively very new, which nobody has already done. This problem statement, or the case which we are doing right now with the smart ID technologies, is relatively new. So I don't know if that counts as a research, but yeah, for me it's something new, and I'm learning something new every day.
Yeah, it was very true to what you said. Even when you were explaining your project, it sounded very relatively new to me as well. So,
Yeah.
and it was very interesting. So, I'm glad you got a lot of opportunities and experience in data science and machine learning. Now, I want to come to that phase of your life where you were trying to pursue higher education in Germany. So, my question is like, in India, we see a lot of people once they are done with undergraduation, we just
Yeah.
see students just going and working in IT services like TCS, Cognizant, and then their career just goes on from there. People pursuing higher education abroad is very less. Even though they want to, we don't see a lot of people, pursuing their
Yeah.
higher studies. One big reason is because they don't know what the process is. So can you, give us a brief of what were the process that you went through to pursue higher education in Germany?
Yeah, so for Germany, higher studies in Germany, the starting point would be a website called DAAD. So anybody who wants to study in Germany can just go to that website. You have several filters there in what field you want, and then like which language. So your masters are offered both in German and English. So I would assume that most of us would obviously want to do the course in English. So yeah, we can have those filters, and then it will give us a list of all the courses available in all the universities in Germany. So everything at a single place. And then so my first advice would be to not fall for the name of the course. So the name could be like misleading. So we can have a different name, and then if you go and check the modules, there could be entirely different thing. So always when we see the results, and then we go into that university website, research about the modules, and we want to actually finalize, okay, if these are the modules that we want to learn in our higher education or not. So this extensive research is very important. So I had been doing this for like 6 months or so before my application starting date. And then obviously then other requirements will follow. So for each of the course there are different requirements. Some universities obviously ask for a German language certificate, some do not. So and then some ask for GRE, or some ask for GATE score. IELTS is compulsory for all the universities. So GRE and GATE, they depend on the universities and also on the course that we are choosing. So these are some of the preparations I had to do before I started. Like pursuing the higher studies here.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I am also someone who's aspiring to do my higher education abroad, and nobody has explained to me the process. I just go to the computer and search and see, and then you see different results at different places. So thank you for putting into a nutshell and then giving. But then you gave
Yeah.
a very golden tip to us, like the title of the course will be misleading. We do
Yeah.
not tend to like go through what is there in the course. We just like, oh, okay, this course sounds great. This is what I
Yeah.
want, and we just choose. That's very true. But can you please repeat the website for me so I can just note it down for all our
Yeah, sure.
interns?
It's DAAD.
DAAD. Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah,
No
so you
problem.
was speaking of German language. So did you learn German to go to Germany? How
Uh,
was your experience?
I mean, before coming to Germany, I didn't. But after coming here, I am still learning. Like I have not finished it yet. So I mean, the experience is really good. Personally, I like learning languages. So this learning German didn't feel a burden to me. But also, there's another positive thing in my career is that if you are going to work in IT field, or in say as a data scientist or so, German language is not a compulsion. A lot of companies always do not ask for a fluent German, because mostly we are not going to be talking to the clients directly. It's mostly the sales team or the other team. They have this one-on-one interaction with the customer. So for IT, for software developers or any other for IT field people, German is always not a compulsion. But if we are going to talk about the core things like mechanical, or if you say even automation and control or so, then German is very, very necessary. So it's not a compulsion that you have to learn a lot before coming here. You can also come here and learn, and then you can somehow start speaking. And yeah, so after that it would be very easy once you learn a little bit.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting on that. We see a lot of agencies here who advertise saying German is compulsory if you want to go to Germany. So they'll make us take courses here for 6 months and all that. So yeah, thank you so much for highlighting on that. You did clear a lot of our interns' doubts here. But then really want to ask you, but why Germany? Like most of them who want to pursue higher education, they tend to go towards US. Take up courses in Texas and such places. But why did you choose Germany over other places?
Yeah. So the major reason I would say is one of the major reasons is the expenses. So comparing to US, you are not even going to spend half, or you're going to only spend less than half of what you will be spending in the US. And Germany is of course very good in teaching and also in research. So my university also had a lot of research projects and different new exciting ideas. And this was like the course that I always wanted. Like I was looking for a blend of my core field of automation and IT. So that is one of the major reasons I chose this. And one more reason is you have this different types of universities in Germany, which you mostly do not find elsewhere. They are called the University of Applied Sciences or the Technical University. So these are two major groups of universities in Germany. So one prepares you for the industry. So the University of Applied Sciences is a lot more practical oriented. You do a lot of projects, thesis, and then you do a lot. You learn by doing assignments and stuff. So it makes you industry ready. And a technical university is like it has a 50% of a lot of theoretical stuffs and 50% of practical stuff. So studying in a TU would help you pursue your PhD or and then postdoc and all those research field. Studying in a University of Applied Sciences would help you get into an industry as soon as you finish your studies. So this was why I chose Germany.
Okay, thank you for elaborately differentiating that. Like most of us had doubt of what is this technical university and applied science differ in.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for differentiating on that. Yeah. So the next thing is, like we have couple of aspiring interns who aspire to become a data scientist one day. So like, but they're clueless about where to begin and what should I start off with. So where should they start off with? Like, what would you like to tell them?
Okay, so basically, first of all, I would say we have to be clear about they have to be clear about the role they want to do. So data science is a very vast field. So so there's a role called data engineer. So that basically means that you have to learn SQL and other databases and work only with the data that is being created. So that is there. And then or a data visualization expert is another role. You only help in drawing some charts, some nice to see graphs or something to analyze the data. Or you want to become a machine learning engineer or a deep learning engineer. So it is important first to know what field of this data science interests you. And then I would say we can also start a course, a data science course from the basics until what is required, and always like use a single tool in the beginning. So in my case, I'm comfortable using Python, so I started off with Python, and I'm currently working in that. So and my idea would be is learn by doing, because the more we are going to read things about data science, nothing is going to get into the head. So there are a lot of open source data sets that are available online. Also, there's a website called Kadil that gives basically it's like they announce some competitions or so, but it need not be a competition. We can just see the data, understand the data, and try out our own stuffs in that data to learn. So that is a very good platform for learning. So I think this is how someone can start their career in.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing that. I have noted down a couple of things that I have to start preparing now itself. But then I have to mention this. I have not received a clear-cut explanation for any questions that I've been asking any of my chief guests who've been joining the live AMA. I got precise and clear-cut answers for every doubt I had today. Thank you so much for that, Soumya.
No problem. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's time for our audience. All of our audience are pre-final year and final year engineering students. So it's
Okay.
time for them to shoot out their public questions. So guys, it's time for you to ask your doubts and questions. Make sure you ask one question at a time so that everybody gets an opportunity. So you can unmute, you can introduce yourself and then ask Soumya your question.
Hi, Soumya, Jensha here.
Hi.
Yeah, so it is very nice, hearing you talk about your projects. So my question is like kind of similar to that, okay? So I want to know, what was your first data science project?
Yeah, so my first data science project was in my college. I mean, my master's case study. So that's like a project the three of us worked on. So basically, we get some information about the amount of methane and carbon dioxide gases available from a plant nearby. So we just have to predict the amount of the gases available in that. It's like a dump, wasteful land from where we are getting that information. So when I started off, it was all like so blank because the data had nothing except one or two information. So we had to do a lot of research on that, try to collect data from say Google or something like that, and then we had to use some machine learning algorithms to do the prediction. So that was my first project in data science.
Oh, thank you, Soumya. Sounds really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thank you, Janisha. Yes, Hari Prasad, go on.
I'm Hari Prasad. My question was like, which was your best part in data science, visualization or creating models?
So for me, it would be visualization. So when when I get to I use a lot of histograms in my data. So visualization helps you understand data. So in any machine learning project, your data is the key. If you have understood the data, then creating a model is like nothing. They are all available easily, and then you can just use a variety of models to get the output. So but visualization will help you understand and help you know which part of the data is important and which is not. So that is my favorite part in machine learning in a project.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Soumya. I'm Divya.
Hello. Hi, Divya.
Yes. My question is something non-technical and something related to technical. If you're stuck in a bug, okay, and you cannot able to fix that, what you will do? Example, I will go and relax myself for some times, and then I will start working on that. And what you will do? You will keep on work on that, or you'll have tricks to solve that bug.
So first of all, like when I experience the bug, if I am not able to solve it myself, I'll first do some research. Like Stack Overflow is the go-to website for me. So I go and try to search. So if I don't get, then I think I'll just stop for a bit, because sometimes the bug could be very easy. You will not know, and then when you come back at a later time, you'll know, okay, this is my mistake. This has happened to me a lot of times. So if I'm not able to get it for few hours, then I stop, I do some other task, and then again come back to this bug.
Okay, even I used to do the same. Okay, then my other question is, have you got adapted to the German environment? Because as a female, you went alone, and have you adapted and started surviving by your own?
Yeah, so it was actually very challenging for me, because this was the first time I'm coming outside India. So I had been away from home before that also, but not outside India. And I didn't know the language when I came here, and it was a bit difficult. I came all alone with too much, too big luggages, and nobody here, and I didn't know anything. Initially it was very difficult, and on top of that, the food here is totally obviously for Indians it's very very different, and we also had to cook our own food here. So initially it was very challenging, but then slowly you get used to things. That initial 3-4 months is the time when you have to keep telling yourself that, okay, no, I can do this, I can do this. So once you just pass those 3 or 4 months, after that it's all like normal. It becomes so normal for you, and then you can keep going.
Yes, that's really inspiring. Thank you, Soumya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Divya. We had a little icebreaker question also from her. Yes, Gokul, go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Gokul from pre-final year computer science department. And you have shifted your domain from E&I into data science and computer related topics, right? What are the challenges you faced while you are shifting from a complete different domain? Because in our country, most of the students have this mindset. Only after entering the college, they'll get a clear view that I'm interested in this topic, and I need to shift to a different domain. So what were the challenges you faced?
Yeah, so for me, the challenge was like, after my bachelor's, I wanted to do a course, something a bit related to instrumentation. So that's why I chose this. But after coming to master's is when I realized that I like this data science part a lot more than control systems. So it was either of the two. I had to make a decision, and I think I made this right choice. So the major challenge would be like that you are running short of some experiences in when you are shifting. So I knew that when I'm shifting to a completely new field, I do not have enough experience to land in a job. So that was when I decided I will do an internship. So gladly, the German courses mostly they come with thesis. So when you're working on a thesis for 6 months, that obviously counts as an experience for you. So I did an additional internship for 6 months to learn a lot about this. So that one helped me overcome this challenge when I shifted from control systems to data science.
Okay. And how did you took a brave decision of changing your career path totally? Because obviously every Indian parent will not easily accept that change. Because what domain you're studying, they used to say go in a single path, don't make hands dirty in everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
So how did you tackle those situations?
My major motive to come and do MS was I wanted to pursue something that I like. So the work I was doing in TCS was not was not my area. Like I didn't feel that that is the right work for me. So that's exactly when I decided, okay, I want to pursue an MS. So I came here to do that. I mean, to pursue my topic of interest. So I think that was a leap of faith that I took. So it just became right for me. So regarding the Indian parents, yeah, what you're saying is right. But I think once you are sure that you want to do this, I think you can somehow convince them, and you can like tell them that this is my area of interest and I would want to work only in this. So please, I just came here for that. So let me do what I like. So that should not be a problem once you're very sure of what you want to do in life.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gokul. Thank you. I think that's it from the audience because we're time bound. I think we'll end the questions from the audience as well. I'm so sorry, Soumya, that I got hold on you longer than I promised.
No problem.
But anyways, we have come to the end of this session now. Thank you so much, Soumya, for all those clear-cut and in a nutshell explanation. It was indeed an inspiring session for all of us. I promise that. Big thank you to you for taking time off your schedule and joining us today. On behalf of Featurepreneur, I express my sincere gratitude to you. Thank you so much, Soumya, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I hope I didn't bore you all with my answers. I hope you got to know something. Thanks a lot for inviting me here.
100%, it was an interesting session. Personally, for me also as an interviewer, it was very interesting for me. I assure you that. Thank you so much. Hope to see you part of Featurepreneur in the future works of ours as well. Thank you for
Sure, definitely. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.